In this professional development session, we will be examining our school and the potential for the use of a community of inquiry approach to learning and values education. Our school at a glance. Our school is a co-educational high school for years 7 to 12 with 392 students with diverse needs and backgrounds. Our students come from all across the Forbes district in New South Wales, and we utilise a positive behaviour for learning system. Our aim is for all students to achieve their full potential, and we prioritise student welfare, student leadership and parent participation as priorities. The PBL standards. Positive behaviour for learning has 4 values. These 4 values are what we want to recognise and teach our students to have. In that way, we want respect, responsibility, doing our best, and honesty expressed in all students. The rewards-based system recognises students who demonstrate this in class and in the playground. The objectives of this session are to determine the aim and purpose of education relevant to recent developments, determine the definition of a good citizen and how schools can play a role in educating good citizens and making for sustainable global futures. Then we will look at values education and the possible pedagogy to incorporate values education into our classrooms. The aim and purpose of education. There are many facets when determining an aim and purpose of education. Now we will visit through them. The first one is the fundamental goal of education is to equip individuals in such a way that they can partake in the good life. This means that when students leave school, they can have a life that is free from poverty and they do not discriminate, and they have the skills necessary to achieve their goals. The UN priorities for education are lifelong learning, upward social mobility, fostering tolerance, proficiency in reading and mathematics, essential skills for life, and to achieve gender parity in attendance and school completion rates. The ACARA overview and goals for education is to help all young Australians become successful learners, confident and creative individuals that most importantly are active and informed citizens of Australia, their communities and the world. The school's aim is to assist all students to achieve their full potential. This full potential may be academically, socially or vocationally. What is education used for? The transfer of knowledge, gaining skills that are necessary for work and qualifications, and improving well-being. Marples argues that without including all 3 facets of this, education is not worthwhile. Education is about creating a socially just society, in this that there is free from discrimination and we value each other and respect each other. Personal influence. The educational aims and goals of individuals is influenced by their teachers, themselves, their family and their environment. In saying that, our educational goals and aim and purpose, as we've determined, are determined by our personal circumstances as well as the policies and procedures we operate under. Take a moment now to review your own educational aim and purpose. What does a good citizen look like? A good citizen is inherently different in all cultures. However, there is 3 broad categorizations. They are personally responsible for their actions and their environment. They participate in their community, and they are orientated towards justice being served. The 3 clips below show small snippets of what students may recognise as a good citizen. Schools as an education tool. Schools are a site that can create good citizens. For example, Nelson Mandela said, "Education is the most powerful weapon that you can use to change the world." Or Greer said, Progressive education advocates recognise teaching as a political act, school and classrooms as sites of resistance and the possibility for education and justice. Both these argue that through education we can change the world and make a more socially just society. This image from Education Services Australia indicates how, when teachers instruct and provide students with guidance on their values and attitudes, provide them with knowledge and understanding necessary for life, along with skills and processing abilities, and get students to take action and participate in their communities, they are contributing to a better global and more sustainable community. When equipped with these skills, students understand the concepts of interdependence, globalization. They know how to recognize their own identity, as well as recognizing that there is diversity within people and cultures. They prioritize social justice and human rights. They have peace building and conflict resolution skills, which all contribute to a more sustainable future going forward. Values education. Those is an essential part of the graphic you were just provided with. Values education can be implemented within all schools. The New South Wales Government outlines key core values that need to be expressed in schools, and those are integrity, excellence, respect, responsibility, cooperation, participation, care, fairness, and democracy. How does a school express these? How do we currently integrate this into our classroom? Currently, we integrate the PBL approach in our classroom, and we do this through going through morning lessons and expressing what each of the behaviours look like on a rotational basis, and then for rewarding positive behaviour. But is there another option for values education? Yes, the community of inquiry will allow us to explore values in a classroom context rather than a separate lesson method. The community of inquiry. What is the community of inquiry? It was introduced in 2000 by Grayson, Anderson and Walter Archer. Swan and Ice in 2010 summarised it quite nicely, saying it's a social constructivist approach to education grounded by the notion of practical inquiry. It's a model which proposes that the best educational experience occurs when cognitive, social and teaching presence overlap. This overlapping is shown in the diagram here. As we can see that as each section overlaps, we get a greater wealth of knowledge and skills in the educational experience. What does a community of inquiry approach look like in the classroom? It looks like open communication, collaboration and group cohesion in the social sense. It then looks like, for cognitive, it looks like a challenge being posed and then students working through the steps to make a resolution for that goal. Then what does the teaching presence look like? As a teacher, you provide the guidance, you initiate the discussion, you keep the students on track and you keep them motivated to reach a solution. In this sense, a community of inquiry approach looks like conversations and people working together and sharing their ideas through discussion. It doesn't mean that everything has to happen in discussion. It just means that in that sense, students are given the opportunity to communicate their values and grow their understanding of their peers and therefore a greater appreciation for diversity. How is a community of inquiry different to PBL? PBL aims to promote a safe and supportive learning culture and assisting to improve social, emotional and behavioural and academic outcomes, whereas a community of inquiry approach aims to reach these, but it also increases students' social and cognitive skills through working together and communication. In conclusion, I would recommend for Forbes High School that we maintain our current PBL approach, but in our lessons, move to an approach for a community of inquiry.